The Rabbit Experiment. Dr. Elias Grayson stood in the sterile silence of his underground laboratory, the syringe in his gloved hand glinting under the fluorescent lights. The clear liquid it held was his life's work, an experimental serum designed to push the limits of biology. Before him, in a steel cage, sat a snow-white rabbit with unblinking red eyes. He hesitated for a moment, then injected the serum into the rabbit's slender vein. At first, nothing happened. Then the rabbit twitched violently, its eyes glowing with an unnatural luminescence. Within seconds, it leapt into the air, hovering effortlessly. Dr. Grayson stumbled back in awe. But the rabbit didn't stop there. It emitted a strange, high-pitched sound, and suddenly, 3 identical clones burst forth from its body, each as vibrant and animated as the original. The chaos began immediately. One rabbit bolted toward a steel enclosure where a massive bull was held for unrelated experiments. In a surreal display of strength, the rabbit and its clones clamped their tiny teeth onto the bull's horns, dragging it into a frenzy. The bull thrashed, its horns slamming into glass tanks and equipment. Blood sprayed across the lab as the bull, maddened and wounded, sent scientists and researchers screaming in every direction. Dr. Grayson and his team of 4 assistants, 2 men and 2 women, watched in horror as the rabbits continued their assault. The younger woman, Sophie, shouted, "We need to get out of here." The group fled through the labyrinthine corridors and out into the adjoining barn, hoping to regroup. Inside the barn, the nightmare escalated. The rabbit had already been there, infecting the chickens. What were once harmless clucking birds were now grotesque flying predators with razor-sharp beaks and glowing red eyes. The flock attacked the group without hesitation, their wings beating like a storm. One of the men, Caleb, tried to shield Sophie, but a chicken dive bombed her, sending her crashing into a wooden support beam. Blood smeared the walls as her hands flailed, leaving crimson prints on the peeling paint. Broken glass from a shattered lantern littered the floor, and a rusted push-cart's wheels creaked eerily in the chaos. Caleb pulled a pistol from his coat and fired wildly at the chickens, taking down 2, maybe 3, before the rest swarmed them again. The other young woman, Evelyn, stood in the center of the barn, eerily calm. Her eyes had taken on a strange bluish glow, her face twisted in a chilling smirk. Sophie, barely able to stand, screamed, "She's one of them." Dr. Grayson hesitated, unsure of who or what Evelyn had become. But the group had no time to deliberate. The chickens were relentless, and the barn seemed alive with chaos. Caleb and Sophie ran for the door, but Evelyn didn't follow. She stood still, her gaze locked on the carnage as though she welcomed it. As the remaining 3 escaped into the open night, panting and bloodied, Dr. Grayson turned back for one last look. The barn door creaked open, and out hopped the original rabbit, still glowing and very much alive. Its eyes met Grayson's for a moment before it darted into the darkness, its clones following close behind. Grayson sank to his knees. His creation had spiraled into madness, leaving death and destruction in its wake. Somewhere in the night, the rabbit lived on, spreading its chaos to whatever unlucky soul crossed its path next. The end.
There they grow into embryos, which in a month's time, the normal gestation period, they will become baby rabbits.
Our name is called the Dead Rabbits, to remind all of our suffering, and as a call to those who suffer still to join our ranks.